Nothing in the world like getting ready to do a great video post while cooking a good pot of collard greens. Ooh, I can smell it's going to be good, but I thought before I got ready to really sit down at the dinner table that I would share this with you because it keeps coming up. I know it's a subject that many people don't want you to get involved with because they have their own beliefs, and I'm all for letting people believe whatever they want. But for people who have had ancestors who were colonized, I've got to speak up. I'm sorry, I've got to say something. We think about prayer. I just mentioned that there was prayer. I wrote that in the post that comes just before the video. So, what is prayer? I mean, we hear it all the time, and we think we have to find a special place or a special way of doing whatever we're doing so that prayer will be effective. But guess what? Prayer is already effective because you do it every day. Why? Because you're thinking every single second of the day, unless you're asleep. And even then, your dreams are informing you of what it is that you wish, what you desire. So when you hold a concentrated, focused thought, that's prayer. Is it a new job? Is it a new car? Is it that special person that you want? Or money? Yes, we all want. Yes, we need what we need. But whenever you think of it, and some of us think of it every single minute of the day, that becomes prayer. You don't have to have a special place. You don't have to have a ritual. But the fact that churches have candles and incense, the only reason they do that is to get your focus. They want you to focus in. Many rituals use candles and also sometimes incense, and not incense, but essences that, really, as you breathe in, you feel more comfortable in asking for what it is that you want. Okay, so we're praying all of the time, but the question becomes, who are we praying to? See, that's the biggie. Now, most people say, well, of course, we're praying to God. Are you? Well, okay. Um, I'm looking back now at the Sumerians. The Sumerians have told us that there were beings that came from the sky to earth to teach. Now, when they came, they not only taught, but they had work to do. Apparently, there was work here of the mining of certain things that were coming from our earth that they needed on their home planet. And so they were down here really just to see what they could, take back with them. Sound familiar? Ooh, sounds like colonization. I'm so afraid. But that's what was going on. So they came, they brought a workforce with them. I can't speak. What's going on? They brought a workforce with them, a new race or a race of people that they were familiar with that became servants, slaves. So at some point, the Igigi, I think they were called, revolted. Yay for them. And so then they looked around and said, now what are we going to do? We are scientists, we are, architects, we are, engineers. What are we going to do? We don't do hard work. So then they found creatures here, the ape family. So they decided to test the DNA. Oh, yes, they're capable of testing the DNA. Don't worry about that. And they said, we can work with this, with a few little clips here, a few hoofs off there, a few little, changes to their physical frame. We can make this work. And they did. And they had a model. The model's name was Adam, which we read of often in the Bible. And they cloned Adam. And they had a workforce. But then there was another who they call Inky. Sounds crazy and bizarre, but every culture has had this story passed down, and each culture has given it a name based on their own cultural origin. And he said, we are doing such a dastardly thing to these creatures. And now that they are beginning to look more like us, I don't see how we can do anything less than to at least give them the ability to procreate. So he designed a project to take his DNA, or the DNA of the people who had come, and place it into these beings who then became what we see today, Homo sapiens, in time. So this is what we are thinking of when we hear people refer to gods. Now, I'm not saying that we know all there is to know about it, but the evidence is building. I mean, there are scientists that even say now that they're considering the fact that the entire universe may be made where? In a lab. And I think it's kind of like true, because I heard a scientist on a radio station say that, yeah, they were getting ready. They thought they could create a universe in their lab. This is an American university that was able to do this. I don't know whatever happened to the project. That was many years ago. So I just want you to know that all things are possible, and we're going to continue this. We're going to stop here because I want to get more into why we should question this God business. But for now, at least we know what prayer is, and we know a little bit about the Sumerians and what they thought. So, I think I better get back to those greens. I think I'm going to have a good dinner. Winking and winking. Okay. Enjoy your evening.